pleased to be joined by Dana Cheng, senior editor of China News for the Epoch Times. Dana, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
So this data leak that apparently was actionable for Hong Kong dissidents for some time before it made its way to the West and was reported by Sky News in Australia earlier in the week. How much faith should we place in the names and the ranks and the serial numbers, as it were, all of these Chinese communist assets deployed around the world to do the bidding of the Chinese government? Is that really a watershed moment in trying to stop China's advance on its mission of being the world superpower?
I think the data and the number of Communist Party members around the world, this data is a tip of an iceberg. And we all know among Chinese, many people coming to United States and going to Europe and Australia, many of them are Communist Party. They have family members and they have a business and they have strong tie with Communist Party. And since they are members, they are still loyal to the Communist Party. So if the Communist Party needs, they will serve the party. I don't mean every party member is like that. I don't mean every Chinese, but there are a lot that have been strategically placed at critical and information-sensitive positions in these companies and the government organizations. Let me give an example. Around year 2001, I was talking with a think tank director in D.C., and she told me that they did a survey. Within a very short period of time, many Congress offices on the Hill, either the lead staff director of the staff or congressman or someone that play key role on the Hill, they suddenly start to have a Chinese girlfriend, and they did a survey to about more than 200 of them. So it's not just one case. And then at the same time, and you see news that CEOs of major corporations get divorced and marry a 30-year younger Chinese wife. So, and these are not coincident. It's strategically planned. But later on, that's about 20 years ago. And later on, China get more business and money. So it's a woman plus money. And it had corrupted a lot of people.
And with respect to the Hunter Biden piece of this story, as it continues to develop and more emails come out of his communications with the former chairman of the CEFC, that's a huge communist Chinese-backed energy company, and others, the partnerships, the joint ventures, and so forth.
Yeah, it's typical.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of what I'm saying. It should not be surprising to us that because that's China's MO. It just should be a warning to us as how high they can get, how quickly to compromise people.
Exactly. For them, it's more economic. It's cheaper to corrupt high-level officials than conquer a whole country. China, the Communist Party, CCP, has always seen America as the number one enemy. And their goal is to overtake America and become the world leader. Because the communists always see the free world as a threat. And America is the leader of the free world. So for them, and this is the strategy they use globally. Even in Africa, they get the children of those African leaders to China, to the Chinese university, and give them scholars, give them girls as a companion, and make sure they are pro-Beijing, pro-CCP. Here, it's the same. I have heard from diplomats I know when they go to China and they know that hotel rooms are monitored. The high-end hotel, those hotel rooms are monitored. So in the evening, there are women trying to get into those rooms. Even if you lock your door and try to resist that kind of arrangement, you wake up next morning without knowing a naked woman can be lying beside you. It's all on camera.
Oh, for blackmail purposes?
Well, that's the excuse I always use.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's the way
communists.
to close the deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
no,
Dan,
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, I mean, do you think since they want to take over, the world, China does, do you think that they secretly release the COVID-19 to try and conquer? I mean, because we're brought to our knees right now. Kids aren't in school, so we'll be the dumbest generation, that group will be. And our economy is on its knees right now.
Well, how they plan that, I don't know the detail, but at least they didn't stop the traveling to other countries while they stopped the nationwide traveling, nationwide commute. They didn't stop, and that's purposeful. I give you an example. Taiwan, through hard negotiation, tried to ship Taiwanese from Wuhan back to Taiwan, and they have an agreed list. The last minute, they put 3 people extra on the same plan, and they were all infected people, purposefully.
And with respect to the situation with COVID in China right now, there's a lot of, not surprisingly, conflicting stories. There's a suggestion that they have developed sort of 5 different vaccines, and they're already exporting them to countries that over which they want to have some influence, including in South America, like Brazil. There's the suggestion that's been made by Chinese nationals that I've heard, even coming from the Hill to staffers on the Hill, that actually they had a vaccine back in September, and that Beijing has zero, like hard number, round egg, 0 COVID cases. What is your handle on the reality of COVID-19 in China at this point, including the efficacy of any vaccine they've developed?
Well, they are certainly competing with the U.S. and the West in developing vaccine. I don't think they are so advanced because we heard that people traveling from China who have taken the vaccine and travel to Africa and other countries, they were tested positive. So if everything reported just directly from China, you can believe that it's the CCP media. And the goal of the CCP media is to control and to lie. The reason that the reason the COVID got reported is because people travel from China to other countries, and it's discovered in other countries.
And so
yeah.
No, I hear. So I hear what you're saying. So they're sort of offloading any discernible cases to continue the facade of having no cases, having defeated COVID, and so forth. What with respect to your piece, and you talk. I grew up in communist China. Here's my warning to America. I mean, there are so many related to the Chinese communists, but what is the overriding message that you want Americans to understand about the perspective of the Chinese communists in charge of that country?
Oh, I think America see China as different from like Soviet Union. Soviet Union, and people say that's a communist, but China cloned the whole system from Soviet Union. It control media, control people's words. It try to take individual rights from people. It try to incite hatred. It use one group against another group. And it try to stop people from, believing in their Buddhas and Taos. Those are the fundamental foundation of the society. It's moral foundation. Communists would destroy them all, and national heritage and the culture. Communists would destroy it all. Recently, what I've seen in America is more and more is similar to what I have seen when I was growing up in China. And that's very sad. We immigrated here. We came here because of the freedom here. And it's very, very sad to see that.
Dana Cheng, senior editor of China News for the Epoch Times. Dana, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson. And if you're a small business owner or you make the marketing or advertising decisions for a business, then listen up. Once again, our annual Food for the Poor campaign is underway to raise money to feed families in Latin America who are suffering because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our friends at Food for the Poor are working with partners on the ground at feeding centers to provide emergency food relief. And here's how your business can be part of the solution.
Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor. Just make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday to Friday at no additional cost to you.
To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Natowski, 847-472-8951. Again, that's 847-472-8951, or go to 560theanswer.com/food for the poor. Hey, COVID has added an additional layer of security concerns, placing your network and local servers at risk. Data breaches, phishing scams, just a few of the many ways hackers are deviously accessing your network. Make it stop. Contact Turnkey IT, locally owned and operated. Good people over there. And now's the time to safely take your company's servers virtual. Yes, it's true with Turnkey IT. Going serverless provides a higher level of security